Welcome to Get Serious for this Mindset Sunday podcast. I know I spoke about last time reading Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. I'm about halfway through that. Still continues to be a much more joyful read than expected. I think it depends on the translation that you're looking at, but kind of the raw and crude language has just made me laugh out loud a number of times amidst all of like the deeper philosophy and so forth here. So something I've thought about a lot about is essentialism. So I think I also commented on reading, what is it? Looking behind me, The Wealth Money Cannot Buy from Robin Sharma, and famous for the 5 a.m. club, really famous speaker as well. And he was just saying like a number of his, super successful or, worldly success, the clients that he has, they're essentialists rather than minimalists, because like we think about minimalism, kind of ascetic lifestyle, perhaps it's just, so many, limited material possessions, or maybe even going out of your way to not do as much, even if it you might be trading a lot more time for money, for instance, by going too far in the direction of minimalism. I mean, there's some overlap, but to me, I like that piece of essentialism that Robin was talking about better. Just, okay, these more successful folks, they really center in on what is absolutely necessary for me to live my life at the best possible capacity for my own self-fulfillment, as well as contributing to society as a whole. And so, that might eliminate a number of other, distractions or various hobbies and so forth. But, it's a little bit different than like minimalism, which is kind of going out of its way to restrict as much as possible. That might also restrict your ability to contribute both to yourself and society as a whole. Whereas I think this essentialism is just, getting right to the core. Okay, what is required for me to operate at my absolute best for my own sake and those around me? So I really liked that thought, because it's just something I try to get better at year after year after year. And it's also realizing like, it could always be better, but like each year that passes, I mean, sure, like we get busier, the business is growing, parent at the moment as well too of a young toddler, like that just naturally decreases what you can focus on. And so like it's really had to kind of consolidate what is critical within my life, and it's certain physical training, eating well, and just really kind of focusing on the business. And then I'll be reading certain key books. Like there's just so many other things that were part of my life in the past that either only come up maybe a handful of days per year. Like I might watch like a couple movies per year, for instance. I really enjoy them when the ones like actually kind of break through my normal routine. But it's just not like something that is in a essential piece of my life anymore. Like it's just the sacrifice in order to be or make more progress in the most critical areas within my life to stay consistent with. And then to jump back to Meditations from Marcus Aurelius, I just love the phrasing for this essentialism, where he was saying effectively, to be essential or to focus on essentialism, it's do less, better, do less, better. So I just, even that phrasing is indicative of what essentialism really means. And I love the core meaning behind that phrasing, because minimalism might just be like doing less or consuming less as a whole, but not necessarily like the better part of it. Like that to me is a core piece from my understanding of what essentialism would be. It's just like, okay, reduce everything that is just not necessary for you to live your best life and help others live their best lives. If you're doing less, you're just able to do all of those other things that remain a part of your day-to-day or part of your routine, just able to practice them more and get better and better at it. So it's just, do less better. And that's what I think has contributed to a lot of the growth within my own life, even physical training. I used to try to just do too much. And now we've really just boiled down the key, with my trainer, everything that has just worked so well for me after kind of years of working together, and where I used to be like a very injury prone athlete, just tweaking this, tweaking that, longer periods of time where I just had to like sit out and lose a lot of the progress that was made just because I was trying to do so much at once and not kind of sticking with a better pattern or listening to my body more. And now I'm 36 and probably the least injury prone I've been over the last 2 years than I have been in like the past 15 years, just because I've boiled down, okay, what is really essential here? And I might not have as much diverse movements. It's not like I can go play at every sport out there. It's just I try to work on jumping and basketball. But that's okay for me. I can make that sacrifice across other parts of my life. I'll try to get some skiing in every year as well, but you can't do everything. And so it's like, okay, boil it down. What is essential to you? What's going to give you the most joy, the most satisfaction? This is it. Stick with it. Be consistent. Same within the business. I'm just saying no to so many other FOMO things. I've been extricating myself from other investments that were okay or not that good, that I had less control over. It was just distracting me from the main real estate and land business, where it's like, okay, this is what we can be one of the world's best at if we just really stay focused over the coming years and decades, doing less, doing better. Similar for certain friendships and relationships within my life. I've been okay, especially over the last year, of just starting to distance myself, not out of any animosity or anything, but just realizing, some of these folks I was maintaining friendships with that might have been more seasonal. And it was a long season for some of these folks. Some folks I grew up with or went to school with. You have a certain history with people like that. I'm sure you can all relate that at some point, okay, we're kind of on different tracks at the moment. Maybe we intersect again in the future. Life is long. But I don't necessarily need to go out of my way and kind of stress myself out to maintain a number of other connections that just aren't as helpful to me where I'm going at the moment. And so just kind of consolidated, okay, to a smaller circle of folks who, especially are in areas of life that I'm trying to reach to, or just also are like very, more ambitious and just progressive in terms of not progressive from like a political sense, but from wanting to make progress within their own life and contributing to those around them. To make that distinction clear here. But who knows, that political beliefs could overlap. It's not something I'm overly concerned about, but yeah, more in the sense of like ambition and growth and contribution. So that is what I've stayed focused on a lot more, especially over the last year. And it's just, again, doing less, being involved with less people, but have better relationships with them as well. And that's, within my own family too. So I really, really resonate with that particular phrasing and mindset, and just want to do even more of that. So with that, there isn't anything else to add. So seriousland.capital for any of your funding needs, Land Daily Diligence Facebook group, zero cost review land deals, and landpricer.ai for the most reliable land pricing tool on the market. Subscribe and share. Do what is essential. Do less better. Take care, everybody. Bye.